loose again. Edwards off the lane. Like a bat, Donovan Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now, and they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Riley Williams. Goes to the free. Touchdown.
Alrighty, Oklahoma fans, welcome into the next edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. Just Brendan tonight, and I'm excited to talk about this team. So much has changed from 2024, in the season that you guys had then into, what the expectations are for 2025. So we're going to get into all that and, we like to look back real quick before we go forward, just in case anybody, watching isn't an OU fan. Like, what the hell happened in 24? Where are we looking at now? So obviously you see started off strong, good win against Tulane, which is a tough team. And then, things started to trickle down. Auburn was a good win there. But then, the losses, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, you see them, and then you smacked around Bama, which was something nobody expected really, but hey, I enjoyed it. So yeah, just a bad end to the season there. Finished off 6-7 with that loss to Navy, but we all know transfers happen, whatever, still counts. But transfers did occur. So now we're talking about 2025, and can you build anything off of that? Well, you can, because there's a lot of experience coming back. You've got 70% returning production. That's all according to Bill Conley and his numbers that they do over there. And his SP Plus ratings have you guys as 16th in the country currently, 16th best team and most challenging team. So looking at the 2024 numbers, 113th offense, 19th defense, even with how bad the offense was going at times. I say at times, a lot, but still, you guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of injuries, a lot of, offensive line issues, trying to cycle through that. Not the right system is, how a lot of it's been portrayed, and really how it seems, at least from the outside looking in. So you get rid of that. Some coaching changes happen. Venable's still there, but you bring in Arbuckle coming in. He's going to bring more of that air raid style, the true air raid. Bates is still there at defensive coordinator, but Venable said he's going to be a little bit more involved from what I've been reading. I don't know how much more involved. You guys already have the 19th ranked defense in the country again after the offensive performance that we saw. So it'll be interesting to see how much more involved he is, maybe across the board. But I like the staff. I think the Arbuckle hire is fantastic. I think that's going to prove dividends quick. But how quick? You got, Michigan coming in week 2, and we'll talk about that in the schedule later on. This one probably kind of rolling through it right now. We've been blowing through these the previews and trying to get them done before, week 0. And it's coming close, man. So it feels good to be talking about the SEC, and especially during the SEC media days. So something to think about portal-wise. I'll pull it up real quick on mine just so I see it here. You look at it, 21 in, 34 out, but you got a lot of good pieces. And, a lot of the guys out were guys that just weren't cutting it last year. Depth pieces, trying to find starting roles. And some of it, you lost good people. I'm not saying you didn't, but we'll talk about the key end first. And also, just in general, the class was ranked number 12 in the country. So again, strong portal class when you talk about quality. So like Beklenko coming in, Kendall Daniels, Jones Jr., guys like that, Simmons on the offensive line, of course, Mateer and Ott. The late steal from Cal, and feel bad for them a little bit. I guess you don't need to, but talking on national stands, they lost like their entire halfback room. It's pretty crazy. But what a get for Ott coming in. And just an impressive finish to the class. But again, the outs that I wrote down as tough, McCullough, Andrell Anthony. I know he's been injured, and he's just kind of trying to look for a new space, maybe a new start again. But I liked his game. Anderson and then Sawchuk. I think that's a tough loss regardless. But I mean, you bring in Ott to replace it. So how much of a loss, whatever. But I like to put down tough losses and what they bring into. So let's go ahead and talk. Jump into it. Talk about some offensive side here. Because really, I mean, last year we all know how bad things were, but this year immediately you bring in the offensive coordinator, and you're finally trying to get an identity, like a real identity here, and also you got a lot of the guys back there healthy. Hopefully, you're not dealing with any crazy ass injury concerns, this season, and you make it through fall unscathed. That's every coach's and every fan base's prayer is that camp goes well and nobody gets hurt. And if you can do that, Mateer coming in at quarterback, the dude can sling it. I mean, just absolute crazy numbers coming in. And now it's Washington State. They weren't playing in the Pac-12 like we're accustomed to, though they did play some good teams. So that's kind of where I look at how did he hold up in the biggest games. So you look at his numbers against Boise State. He was 26 of 37 for 327 yards, 70% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and he ran for 20 carries for 28 yards. Obviously, they like his running ability. He can run, but can a good defense lock him up? We'll see. Washington played them. They were a strange team, kind of in that intermediate realm of good Big Ten team, but they're still growing as well. So when Mateer played them, and I know the team around him is different than what he'll have at Oklahoma, but it's just something to look at. 17 to 34 passing, 245, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, only 50% completion, and he had 62 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns. And then the Texas Tech game shows 9 to 19, 115 yards, and then Rush is 21 for 197 against Texas Tech. So that's impressive. We'll see what he can bring to the table here at OU. But I mean, it obviously gives you hope, and it's a changeover from Jackson Arnold, losing him. Notice I didn't put him on key losses. I don't know. He had moments where I thought he looked good, but others, regardless of what was going on around him, it didn't strike me as right. I don't know. And maybe we already previewed Auburn. Maybe he just needs a new system. Maybe he needs a breath of fresh air, and maybe he'll turn it up there. But we'll see. So either way, you bring in a quarterback, you bring in the offensive coordinator to change it up. You bring in Ott to help out in the backfield, and that already helps out. You got Barnes back there too. The tight ends, I think that's a decent group. Caden Helms. Then you got your portalers coming in. Guy from Kennesaw State. Wide receiver transfers, Jermichael Carter, Josiah Martin, Set and Gena, and Gibson. Gibson, I read, was hurt in the spring camp. I hope he's back from injury. I haven't seen anything else on from what I've looked, just that he should be a go. But, it's kind of like I'm a Michigan fan. And Rod Moore, he's supposed to be back too from injury, but it's – back and forth. Nobody really freaking knows until fall camp happens and you see who's out on the field. So you've got guys that are coming in that can be targets for him, but really it all depends on the offensive line. And last year it was rough. So many between injuries and then just changing up all the different types of shuffling guys, and so many sacks occurred. Can it be better? It's got to, and I think it will. But how much better? And how quickly can they gel? Because that offensive line, again, you bring in a lot of guys from depth pieces, in the portal, but you also got a couple good ones, like I mentioned Simmons earlier from the portal coming in. I mean, he should start immediately, and that's somebody that you're looking at. I mean, that he's going to have to be an anchor for that line, and be a steady presence. So for me on the offensive side of this, to really take a jump, it's got to be the offensive line. How quickly can they gel? Week 2, you got a really strong defense coming in. I know Michigan lost Mason Graham. We'll talk about that more later, but they better be ready. And then outside of that, the SEC schedule is tough. But again, you guys have recruited really well. You've got players. The depth is there. It's just how quickly can they gel. All right, let's move on. Defense. Strong year, mentioned that strong year last year, regardless of the offensive situation. They were still up in it. They were rushing the passer well. Linebacker core is good. I mean, just everything you want in a defense. Oklahoma has it. It's just, again, you're gonna let down so many times. How many times can the offense, put a defense in a bad spot and then you still win games? It's very difficult to happen. Uh, so looking at it this year with the depth that you guys have recruited, linebacker group's going to be good. Even losing Stutzman, that sucks. But you got Kip Lewis, Kendall Daniels coming in. He's going to be, Trey coming over from Oklahoma State. That's tough, for them. But hey, a ton of experience, a lot of tackles under his name. I think that's going to be impressive. Looks like Dolby's back from injury, and then you got McKenzie back there too. So you guys have a good linebacker core. Defensive line, I expect to be stout. You've got 5-star players that entered the portal, came back, and so you get those reps. You get those big bodies in the middle to help eat up the run. The rushers on the edge are going to be strong. This is going to be a dangerous defense, and if that offense can get things going, I mean, this is a team that can make some noise in the SEC. And I think people are counting Oklahoma out, to be honest with you. Maybe not all of them. I think I've seen Pate and guys like that talk about them, as somebody that they're interested in and somebody that can make noise too. But the general public, when I read comments about, their schedule and, just the team in general, they don't trust them. They say this Oklahoma team's washed and whatever. It's not the Oklahoma of old. There's plenty of talent on this team for them to be what we know Oklahoma to be. One bad year doesn't, mean the whole program's gone down the shitter. So we'll see what happens there. But I like what they got out on the edge. There's players all over this defense that can hurt a team. And your offensive coordinators on the other side that you're playing are really going to have to, scheme around it. Safeties are good. Cornerbacks, Eli Bowen's a beast. I think it's going to be a tough defense to move on again. They should be right up in that top echelon, and how they probably get, like I said, better if that O line really gels and lets the offense cook, if you will. So I'm going to pull up the 2025 schedule for you. Pull it up on my end because it's like small as hell on this camera for some reason. And I'm going to disappear, but you probably don't want to see me anyway. So Illinois State first game. That's a good little game to try and get all the kinks worked out, that you haven't figured out in fall, and just get the hell out of there without injury. Because next week, coming to Norman, I'm coming to Norman too. I'm coming to check it out. That's right. I'm excited to get up there and see this game. One, I am a Michigan fan, but two, just for the sake of college football, it's an awesome out-of-conference match. I can't wait to be up there to watch it. Drop me some recommendations on where to go and what to check out in the YouTube comments when I go to Norman. I've been to Lawton. I lived there for a couple months and then never really been back. Just kind of passed through Oklahoma sometimes, so it'll be a good one to check out. After that, the Michigan game, tough. We mentioned it as tough defense. Michigan, tough defense. Offensively last year, we know they were inept, but they still found a way to close out with wins against Ohio State and Alabama. And that was without being able to really throw. And now you've got Underwood there, Mikey Keene, maybe, depending on his injury status. I know people question their wide receiver core. They lost some big-name players to the draft. But I'm telling you, that team's still going to be solid. So that's something you need to be ready for in week 2 there. Then you get a nice break against Temple, kind of recoup. And then you got Auburn against Jackson Arnold. I mean, what a storyline that is. And there's potential for you both to be 4-0 going into that game, or 3-0, going into that game. And to me, that's college game day written all over it. And, we'll see what happens with it. You get a nice little break there, bye week, Kent State. Really, Kent State. So basically 2 bye weeks. Let your starters get a couple reps and then just run backups the whole goddamn time. And then you get into the meat. This is not an easy schedule. From, you got the week 2 clash, heavy defenses, and then you go into the, SEC games against Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Then a break. Then you play at Bama. You get a Missouri team that's very hopeful for what they got this year. And then LSU. I mean, this is just a nasty schedule. But I have hope in this Oklahoma team for the just the sheer talent that you have on the roster. It all just depends again on the offensive line and the wide receiver core. How well do they mesh with, Mateer coming down? I think the wide receivers and quarterback play is going to be good. I don't see that as an issue. Offensive line, it's just really what setup are you going to get? And I think this team will get more dangerous as the year goes on. I think Michigan has every chance to take you down week 2. And I'm not just saying that as a Michigan fan. I'm saying that because with all the portal stuff going on and the changeover, it's easy to lose early on. But that won't matter, even if you do. But you could also definitely smack Michigan around just like what Texas did last year. I know you don't want to hear about Texas, but it's certainly possible. It's a young quarterback coming in. If he does get the start, that's going to be a hostile environment. And it's a dangerous position for a freshman to come in and try to, win on the road against, a top caliber team. But when you get down into the SEC games, Ole Miss, I think, is winnable. So you guys should be in every single game, especially if this offensive line gels and it starts moving together and forming as a tight unit. This Oklahoma team is going to get tougher. Let me know what you guys think in the comments on what you're feeling on the over/under, which is currently 6.5. So I mean, Vegas obviously doesn't have much faith simply because of what a gauntlet it is after the Kent State game. But for me, I'll give you a floor and ceiling, and floor is like worst case scenario. I mean, that's like everything goes to hell. But I see, even with that, I could see five wins, and that's everything going to hell. So 5-7 is a floor. Ceiling, I've got 9-3. I think this team has everything it can take to contend in every single one of these battles. I think if you guys win it out or work it out with the offense, 9 wins is certainly feasible, and that would put you, in my mind, in contention for the SEC and at least the at-large bid in the playoff. Now, I'm not saying it's going to completely happen because it's a freaking gauntlet. But like I said, I think Tennessee is gettable. I think Ole Miss is. Texas is going to be tough. Arch Manning, I know he's the anointed one right now. But I'm not even talking about him, just the talent around him. But I mean, you guys could do it too. It's a Red River rivalry, right? And then Bama, they got a new quarterback coming in. How does he really handle it? Everybody's expecting a nice, a leap for Alabama. Like it was a down year for Bama. They were on the edge of the freaking playoff. Like, give me a break. I mean, they did lose to a team that couldn't pass, but that's something. And then you got Missouri. So there's room here for, in my opinion, 9. I think anything more than that's really pushing the envelope. But I'm curious to see what happens. You guys, please let me know in the comments. I'm excited to see what this team does. I'm excited to visit. I've heard great things about, Norman and the University of Oklahoma. So hopefully I get to see you guys around. And, for me, I hope, Michigan walks out with a win, but I'm just excited to see what this team does for OU. And again, I think they could be right on the cusp if everything clicks. So you guys, I appreciate your time. I hope you guys have a good one. Hit me up in the comments. Find us on, Facebook, Twitter. It's probably where you'll find this video. And then, just holler at me. We'll see you around.